Again, going way back to the decision to snub Caitlin Clark from the last year's Olympics. Now, we know Christine Brandon made a book pretty much calling her out. Now, they had a back and forth last week or so. We reported on that here on the channel. Now, she has definitely made it her business to say little things about Caitlin Clark, say little subliminals about her, and different things like that. And she's really not a fan of the Caitlin Clark department. It don't seem that way.
Cheryl Reeve finds herself addressing media questions regarding the potential participation of Caitlin Clark in tonight's matchup against the Indiana Fever. The Commissioner Cup game has generated significant attention, particularly with Clark's uncertain status creating strategic implications for both teams. Clark has been designated as questionable for the evening's contest, a tactical decision by head coach Stephanie White that keeps the Minnesota Lynx guessing about their opponent's lineup. This uncertainty demonstrates Clark's substantial impact on game planning, as her presence fundamentally alters how teams approach their defensive schemes.
The Indiana Fever, for them to win tonight, they're going to have to do something that they have not done since the 19th of June, 2022. And it's beat a team above 500. Lads, they have beaten one team above 500 since Caitlin Clark's freshman year. They have beaten, since Nalissa Smith has entered the league, without Caitlin Clark, they've beaten one team above 500. One.
The absence of Clark from recent team activities has become noteworthy. Reports indicate she did not participate in the squad's shoot-around session and hasn't been spotted at the Target Center facility. Her participation status remains unclear, despite yesterday's practice involvement. Reeve's relationship with Clark continues generating discussion, particularly following previous controversies surrounding Olympic team selections. The tension escalated after Christine Brennan's published criticism, leading to public exchanges between the parties involved. Reeve has occasionally made subtle references regarding Clark, suggesting ongoing friction between the coaching staff and the rising star.
But I don't know, man. But she spoke with the media today, and this is what she had to say. Let's pull it up right now. Now, her and her team spoke with the media in regards to the Caitlin Clark thing and playing the Indiana Fever today, and the things that's going on with their roster too. Let's check out some of these clips.
Yeah, it's kind of our superpower, the connection that they have.
During today's media session, Reeve discussed her team's core strengths and identity. She emphasized the organic chemistry among players, describing their connection and mutual belief as fundamental advantages. When considering roster decisions during the offseason, Reeve focused on identifying repeatable elements versus anomalous performances. The coach addressed concerns about maintaining team unity while avoiding destructive individual attitudes. She questioned whether their successful chemistry could sustain itself through changing circumstances, ultimately concluding that their foundational relationships would endure.
And it was the 2022 Chicago Sky. They beat one team. One team and one team only. You guys think that is a false stat. They did not beat a team above 500 for the entirety of the 2023 season. They didn't beat, ironically, till I think the 30th of June last year when they beat the Mercury. They didn't beat a team above 500 last season for half the season. And then afterwards,
additional media interactions featured Minnesota players discussing the upcoming competition. They acknowledged Indiana's determination to secure victory, referring to their desire for the bag, likely referencing championship aspirations or financial incentives associated with winning. Various reporters covering the situation provided updates throughout the day. Practice observations confirmed Clark's absence from visible team activities, though she participated in previous days' sessions. This pattern creates uncertainty about her actual playing status, as yesterday's involvement suggests potential availability despite today's absence.
The belief that they have, their love for each other, I think is something that is so organic. I know when I was in the off season and we were considering whether you just run it back, what do you do with this team? Is it enough just to say, keep the team together? Or, and the things that you look for are what's repeatable. Were there performances that you kind of go, okay, that's not going to happen again? What's repeatable? And the core of our identity was our chemistry.
Photography from the Target Center showed Indiana Fever's preparation without Clark present during media-accessible portions of practice. The coaching staff maintains their game-time decision stance, emphasizing long-term considerations over immediate competitive advantages. The strategic implications extend beyond single-game impact. Clark's uncertain status forces Minnesota to prepare for multiple scenarios while Indiana maintains maximum flexibility in their approach. This gamesmanship reflects the elevated stakes surrounding Commissioner Cup competition. Media coverage highlights the broader narrative surrounding Clark's season, including her rookie impact and the attention she brings to women's professional basketball. Her presence significantly affects attendance, viewership, and overall league visibility.
They then went and beat the Mercury, they beat the Lynx, they beat the Liberty, all before the All-Star break. And then after the All-Star break, they come out, beat the Mercury again, who I think finished below 500 in the end. Were above 500 at the time. They beat the they beat the Storm. They beat the Sun. They never beat the Aces. Was that it, actually? Yeah, you know what? They were 500 against teams above 500.
The Minnesota organization continues focusing on their established identity while adapting to external pressures. Reeve's emphasis on team chemistry and repeatable performance suggests confidence in their existing roster construction, regardless of opponent personnel decisions. Tonight's outcome will likely influence future strategic decisions for both organizations. The Commissioner Cup format adds additional motivation beyond regular season standings, creating heightened intensity for all participants. Current reporting suggests Clark's status remains genuinely uncertain rather than strategic misdirection. The combination of yesterday's practice participation and today's absence creates legitimate ambiguity about her physical condition and availability.
And I had to ask, like, are we going to have the disease of me kick in? Are we going to have some stuff? Things are always different. And is it repeatable? And we made the determination that it was. And it has been. Yeah.
So that was Cheryl Reeve speaking with the media. There's some more clips too that I'm about to pull up right now to show you guys, because it wasn't just her, it was her players as well talking to the media today. And let's play this one right here.
Both coaching staffs must balance immediate competitive needs with player health considerations. The decision-making process involves multiple factors beyond simple win-loss calculations, particularly when dealing with marquee players who drive significant fan interest. The media attention surrounding this single game demonstrates women's basketball's growing prominence. Individual player storylines increasingly drive coverage and fan engagement, similar to established patterns in other professional sports leagues.
After they won one. But without Caitlin Clark, we are 3 years in a month without them beating a team above 500. And I know. They beat the Mystics. They beat the Sky. They beat the they lost to the Sparks, in fairness. Like, the Fever lost to the Sun without Caitlin Clark. Can we be honest here? The Fever lost to the Connecticut Sun. They're an embarrassing basketball team. They're an embarrassment of a team. They're...
As game time approaches, both teams continue final preparations while managing uncertainty about key personnel. The resolution of Clark's status will significantly impact tactical approaches and potentially influence the contest's competitive balance. As anticipated by many observers, Caitlin Clark has been officially declared unavailable for tonight's matchup versus the Minnesota Lynx. This development essentially renders Clark's season meaningless in competitive terms, as the Fever find themselves in an extraordinarily difficult position.
Now she kept this one short and sweet, bro. This one right here was definitely short and sweet.
Second time getting back now is kind of like old.
They're excited. They want to win. Just Indiana wants, they want this thing called the bag. The kids call it the bag.
See, they want the bag.
They're excited. Now is kind of like old. They're excited. They want to win. Just Indiana wants, they want this thing called the bag. The kids call it the bag.
The Indiana organization would need some miraculous intervention, perhaps a mass exodus of talent to their roster in protest of league treatment following incidents like the Julie Van Loo situation, for them to become genuinely competitive. Such scenarios remain purely hypothetical, but represent the only realistic pathway for the Fever to achieve meaningful success this campaign. Tonight's contest presents the Indiana squad with a monumental challenge they haven't overcome since June 19th, to beating an opponent with a winning record. Their track record against successful teams remains staggeringly poor, having managed just one victory over a 500-plus club since Clark's collegiate freshman season and Smith's professional debut, that single triumph coming against the 2022 Chicago Sky.
Actually an embarrassment of a team. They lost to the Sparks, who were an embarrassment of a team. At least they beat the Sky and the Wings. And the Mystics, in fairness, the Mystics aren't that far off. Ain't that far off 500. So the Mystics aren't that bad a team. Like, that's not a bad win. That is not a bad win. They're still below 500. But still, the Indiana Fever have almost zero chance tonight. Almost zero chance tonight. And I'm somebody who has predicted.
This statistic proves even more remarkable considering Indiana failed to register a single victory against winning teams throughout the entire 2023 campaign. Their drought against quality opposition extended well into last season until approximately June 30th when they finally conquered Phoenix. Following that breakthrough, they managed additional victories over Minnesota, New York, and others before the mid-season break. Post-All-Star festivities brought more success against Phoenix, who may have finished below 500 despite being above it during their encounter. Seattle and Connecticut. Las Vegas remained unconquerable throughout. Their final tally against winning clubs stood at .500 after that initial breakthrough.
Everybody want the bag, man. Everybody want the damn bag.
Yeah, all from being ourselves. Don't get no better than that, do it? Tell you. We hit a gold mine. We don't even know.
We got like 3,500.
We got like 12K followers, but like out of them 12K followers, 3,000 people don't subscribe. Now that's not everybody, but like, it's like popping a bottle in the club. You feel me? Like you just want to be.
Without Clark's presence, the franchise has endured over 3 years without toppling a team above .500. While recent victories over Washington, Chicago, and Dallas provide some consolation, and a loss to Los Angeles demonstrates continued struggles, Connecticut's triumph over Indiana without Clark exposes the team's fundamental weaknesses. That defeat to Los Angeles, themselves struggling significantly, further illustrates Indiana's limitations. Washington represents a more respectable opponent, sitting closer to .500 than other recent conquests, making that victory somewhat meaningful despite falling short of the quality threshold.
I predicted the Fever's record exactly. I have predicted the Fever to have an exactly 8-8 record. Does that mean I haven't predicted 14 of the 16 games wrong? Yes. I have in fact predicted 14 of 16 games wrong. So, if you guys are fans of the Fever, you guys should be happy that I'm saying the Fever have no chance of winning without Caitlin. Like, I give the Fever a.
Tonight's prospects appear exceptionally dim for Indiana, despite accurately forecasting an 8-8 record for the team. While incorrectly predicting 14 of 16 individual game outcomes, the chances without Clark seem minimal. With Clark hobbled, victory odds might reach with Clark healthy, perhaps 30%. Without Clark entirely, the probability drops to approximately 1%. ESPN's 26% projection for Indiana appears overly optimistic given their 9.5-point underdog status. Minnesota's advantages become apparent when examining matchups. Fee faces coverage from Natasha Howard, creating favorable situations for the visitors. Howard cannot effectively contain Smith, while Minnesota possesses multiple defenders to rotate against Boston. Smith, Shepard, and others can all contribute defensively without Howard presenting sufficient offensive threat to exploit switching.
We had an NFL player came on our stream, dropped 100 subscriptions and left. Y'all think I'm joking? I'm dead serious. It's like, it's literally, and then think about it. Like when you go drop it, now his name is up there at the top as our highest like bulk subscription. So it's like.
But he got passed now.
Yeah, because we got some people on there showing us love. But it's like a big ass flex.
So what's next for it? What's the big plans?
Yeah, we taking All-Star. We're going to All-Star.
Bus taking over All-Star.
The Lynx roster features 4 capable defenders for Boston, with Condova and Maria providing size advantages. Indiana's continued reliance on Turner raises questions about coaching decisions and rotation management. Perimeter matchups favor Minnesota decisively. Carlton surpasses Hull in overall effectiveness. McBride significantly outclasses Mitchell. While McDonald performs admirably, she cannot match Minnesota's depth at that position.
Temp would have given the Fever a 10% chance with a hobbled Caitlyn, a 30% chance with a healthy Caitlyn, and a 0.1 or 1% chance right now. Like, legitimately, I'd say I give them a 1% chance. I want to just see what percentage ESPN gives the Fever to win the game. It was like 20 something percent earlier.
Williams presents the only potential vulnerability for the visitors. Her decision-making occasionally creates problems. However, Williams also possesses game-changing ability, and Heidman provides excellent backup insurance. Minnesota requires just one guard to perform well for comfortable victory. Samuelson's absence impacts Minnesota's bench depth somewhat, but their organizational culture suggests solutions will emerge. Kosu, despite limited production this season, demonstrated capability with 6 points in 6 minutes against Connecticut recently. Though facing weaker opposition, her youth suggests potential emergence.
Maybe we're doing a 72-hour stream. Thank you. Look forward to it. Y'all not turned the whole All-Star weekend. We're not turning the camera off.
I believe you.
You should. I'm telling the truth. They did it with Stream University. Why we can't do it?
Except that All-Star.
We're going to do it at All-Star. The content won't make it show.
Y'all
It's
get
gonna be like segments.
Y'all get ain't no
No,
segments.
bro, the camera ain't
We been
stopping.
rolling.
We got a phone. We got a battery pack. We got a Wi-Fi box. Thank you.
Miller provides additional bench strength, creating remarkable depth throughout their rotation. Minnesota maintains salary cap flexibility while fielding this talented roster.
It was like 20 something percent earlier that ESPN gave the Fever to win. And they still have the Fever at a 26% chance of winning. Like, they still have the basically a minus 9.5. They are plus 9.5 underdogs. I think this could be bad.
The combination of superior talent, depth, coaching, and organizational culture makes Minnesota overwhelming favorites. Victory appears nearly impossible for Indiana with Clark sidelined, and challenging even with her available. The gap between these franchises extends far beyond individual player availability, encompassing fundamental roster construction and competitive philosophy differences.